Hey everyone, this is Stuart from the Juggling Balls YouTube channel. So here we are, the first leg of the Champions League knockout stages have all been completed, and it's safe to say the English teams have to be pretty happy with the results they've got, right? What we're going to do today is we're going to take a look at the English teams and how I think the next legs will go, as well as take a look at how the rest of the competition could go from here. Remember to subscribe and give the video a like if you enjoy it. So, to start off with, let's go with Man City. So, with last night's result against Gladbach, they're now 19 games unbeaten. No losses or draws, all bloody wins. A remarkably stupid feat considering how topsy-turvy this season has been for them. And everybody really across the leagues in this past year that we call the pandemic. City have had their own injuries to deal with as much as anyone. Aguero has been missing for like 99.9999999% of the season, and De Bruyne has missed the past few weeks and only recently returned. So without their main striker and injuries sort of stopping and starting throughout the team, it is quite remarkable to see how they've been able to stabilise despite some missing key weapons. Now, coming away with a 2-0 away league win is always good, no matter who the opponents are, and gives City one foot into the next round. And I would heavily expect them to come away either with a similar result or at least a draw in the next game at home. But again, nobody is drawing or beating City at the moment. Never mind scoring goals against them. So I would expect possibly a 2 or 3-0 win for City. And to be perfectly honest, it's going to take a monumental task or amount of luck, skill, precision to knock City out of the competition this year, as much as it pains me as a United fan to think they might actually win it this year. So with that being said, we'll move on. Less of the bad news from City, for United fans for City. Next we'll move on to Chelsea, who for all intents and purposes have turned their season around with the arrival of new manager Thomas Tuchel. In the month so far of February, they've played 6 games, and in those 6 games, they've won 5 and drawn 1. A run of form, really, that no one could have really seen coming when they were sliding down the table with little hope or light at the end of the tunnel in sight for at the end of Lampard's reign. And let's not forget, Chelsea heavily invested in the summer, giving Lampard the back he needed after the transfer ban of the previous season. He invested over 60 million in Havertz. He put in over 50 million for Werner. He got in Thiago Silva. Now, yes, that was on a free, but again, it was defensive backing that they desperately needed after last season's topsy-turvy defence. But unfortunately for Frank, despite all of these additions, he really was unable to get them to where it was expected, which was, in comparison to last season, comfortably in the top 4, while possibly being included in the title picture this year, considering how teams were not getting results at the start of the season and dropping points. And let's not forget that Atletico Madrid were absolutely flying at times in La Liga this year and could well up winning the league thanks to the revenge tour that Luis Suarez sees himself on after being let go by Barca. So Chelsea, despite their problems earlier on in the season, being in this run of form and still managing to go to Atletico and not only getting an away goal, which is always crucial in European ties, but also getting a clean sheet to take home is more than what they expected. The second leg will be no doubt very tricky because Atletico will fight tooth and nail to claw back the deficit. That's just the Simeone way. But Chelsea are in a good run of form and are looking rejuvenated at the minute, and I would expect them to get through, and I think they have enough really to get through both defensively and offensively. Now, last but not least for the English teams left in the Champions League, sorry United, but it's Liverpool. Now look, it'd be unfair for me to come on here and say that Liverpool haven't been unlucky and their slide away from the top of the league had been coming. But there is some logic to that second part. Now hear me out. Liverpool have been crippled by having no defence. There's absolutely no question. But this slide was always going to come. Even with Virgil van Dijk in the team, they still conceded 7 against Villa. And when you look at that 11 that they put out against Villa, it was a strong enough team to easily go win that game. Villa weren't exactly beating everyone in their path. This is a team who scraped through survival by the skin of their teeth last year. Yes, they have improved, but not to the point where they should be scoring 7 past Liverpool. Playing the way Liverpool play is always going to catch up to them at some point. it was always going to lead to potentially in a few seasons' time of good results, potentially hitting a longer than expected patch of poor form, especially when considering how good they've been these past few years. The exact same thing happened to City last year. It's nothing to be ashamed of. It's very difficult to maintain such high standards in not only the Premier League but any league throughout the world, especially when you have 4 or 5 teams who could beat you any given day, and then the rest of the league can just pull out a result out of nowhere. So they've done the exact same thing as City last year and fallen off a cliff. But unlike this year, City still finished second, which was still some way behind Liverpool. It's just unfortunate for Liverpool that they've had the slide this season when anyone could finish in the top four, and City are going to run away with the title. However, one light for the Scousers is the Champions League. They've managed to get a great result against Leipzig with a 2-0 away win. Don't forget, United went there and lost and got knocked out of the Champions League when they went to Leipzig in the last game of the group stage. And barring really some sort of collapse from Liverpool, I would expect them to make it through. We'll just not go into the fixture that happened on the following Saturday. Will we, Jordan? So, looking at the rest of the Champions League results from the first leg, the standout result really has to be PSG's outstanding victory at the Nou Camp. Now, I know Barca aren't the same as they were a couple of years back. Their defence is as assured as I am doing a job at centre-back for a Sunday League team. But the fact is, PSG have laid the marker down to the rest of the competition with this win. And Mbappe has also laid a marker down to confirm he's coming after the Ballon d'Or. And if he wins the Champions League with PSG, who could stop him, really? But looking at the rest of the results, I don't really expect there to be too many shocks considering how the rest of these games have panned out. Juventus probably are in the most perilous position, but don't be surprised if old Ronnie comes to the rescue once again. If I had to pick a team now, based on these results, to go on and win it, it's probably going to be City. But if they get a PSG or a Bayern earlier in the draw, maybe they could be stopped. With that being said, let me know in the comments who you think will win this year's Champions League. I've been Stuart, and thanks for watching.